So guys, 2 days ago we talked about vulnerability in the podcast. That was Monday. If you didn't hear it, you should definitely check it out. But in that notes section of the podcast, if you looked at it, which I asked you to do, you saw the 36 questions that you can use to help build intimacy through being vulnerable. And that again is just simply talking about things you don't normally talk about. Well, just in the last 2 days, one of the things that have continually come back to me in talking to different men and people who've reached out to me is that many times men and women, husbands and wives, you become so accustomed to be around that person, you quit talking simply because there's nothing to talk about. And surely there is tons to talk about. You just don't have the tools in which to help bring about those conversations. So I wanted to, again, highlight today to you how important it is for you to dig those 36 questions out of that podcast, out of the notes, and use those. You don't have to necessarily use those just to build vulnerability, but if you've ever found yourself sitting in the car with your wife, driving somewhere, or sitting at the kitchen table, or sitting in the bedroom, and nothing really to talk about, you can go through these questions, and it will spark different conversations. Let me read you a couple. And here's the deal. Some are more lighthearted. Some are really, they get to the heat of the matter. So the very first question is, given the choice of anyone in the world, who would you want as a dinner guest? Again, that's a little more lighthearted, but it definitely gets conversation going. Number 4, what would constitute a perfect day for you? Number 7, do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? That could be a real starter as far as a conversation. Number 9, for what in your life do you feel most grateful for? Again, these questions, they will definitely help build some intimacy and some vulnerability. But more than anything, it's a springboard so that if you feel like your relationship is kind of stagnated and you don't really have much to talk about unless maybe the kids called or, you have to do something with one of the grandkids, these are ways to, again, continue to spark conversation between the two of you. And if you're in a relationship, you understand that intimacy is really built through the communication and not in the bedroom. However, great communication does lead to more time in the bedroom. This is Garth Heckman at the David Alliance. Thanks for checking us out. And always share our podcast and our videos and rate them. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.